Hey, welcome. Every recipe, whether it's that simple dinner your family makes or some fancy celebrated dessert, is way more than just a list of instructions. It's really a story about history, about creativity, and about connection. And today, we're going to decode some of those hidden stories right on your plate.
So let's just jump right in. Think about it. Is a recipe really just a list of ingredients and steps? A cup of this, a teaspoon of that? Or is it something more? What if I told you it's actually a map that leads to a much bigger world? By the end of this, I bet you're going to see your own meals in a whole new light.
All right, our journey kicks off with our first big theme, heritage. And to really get into it, we're looking at a dessert that literally stacks the history of an entire community into its many, many layers.
First up, let me introduce you to the Smith Island cake. Now, this isn't just any cake. It's so ingrained in the local culture that, get this, back in 1985, it was officially named Maryland's state dessert. Just think about that for a second. A cake so important it's recognized by law. And the history of this cake is just fascinating. It all started way back in the 1800s as something really practical. The women of Smith Island would bake it for their husbands who were heading out on these long, tough oyster expeditions on the Chesapeake Bay. Over the years, that recipe turned into a cherished tradition passed down from generation to generation. And now, it's a beloved, delicious symbol of the whole state's heritage. And here's where it gets really smart. The way it's built, its famous form, it has a very specific function. You see those signature thin layers? They weren't just for looks. It was actually a clever way to pack in more frosting, which kept the cake super moist and helped preserve it on those long trips out at sea. And that rich fudge frosting? Well, that was a crucial source of energy. So this cake wasn't just a treat. It was fuel. It was a true labor of love and a symbol of the resilience of that whole community. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? A simple cake becomes this vessel for history. It tells the story of the people who made it and the traditions they fought to keep alive. So with every single bite, you're not just tasting sugar and flour. You're tasting a little piece of that past. Okay, so we've gone from deep-rooted heritage to something totally different, radical innovation. What happens when recipes aren't just preserved, but are completely reinvented when different cultures and ideas smash into each other? Let's talk about the humble egg roll. You're probably picturing the classic, right? Cabbage, pork, crispy wrapper. But in the DC area, a new icon has shown up, the steak and cheese egg roll. This thing takes a beloved local sandwich, the steak and cheese, and fuses it with the classic Asian appetizer. The result is something totally new and, let's be honest, absolutely delicious. And just listen to what's going on in there. It's a total symphony of flavors. You've got that tender, savory steak, the sweetness from the onions and peppers, multiple layers of creamy, melty cheese, plus earthy mushrooms, all of that packed inside a perfectly crispy wrapper. It's a true masterpiece of culinary fusion. And this whole drive to innovate, it's not a one-off thing. This remixing of classic dishes happens everywhere. It creates endless new possibilities from things we already know and love. Let's take a Canadian classic, for example. Poutine is the perfect example. The classic Canadian dish, fries, cheese curds, and gravy. It's like the perfect blank canvas. From that base, you can go anywhere. You can add BBQ pulled pork, some spicy buffalo chicken, or even turn it into a breakfast dish with sausage gravy and a fried egg. It's literally evolution on a plate. All right, so we've covered heritage, we've covered innovation. Our final theme is all about how food creates connection. And sometimes it happens in the most unexpected ways. For this story, we're going to head all the way over to Istanbul. So the first thing you need to know about Istanbul is that it is a city of cats. I'm talking an estimated 125,000 of them roaming the streets. But here's the thing, they're not seen as pests at all. They're actually a cherished part of the city's whole identity. This quote really captures that special bond perfectly. For centuries, going all the way back to Ottoman sailors who use cats to handle rats on their ships, the people of Istanbul have cared for their feline neighbors. This relationship, it's not just some quirk. It's woven right into the fabric of daily life there. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This feels like a bit of a random jump, right? What on earth does a city full of cats have to do with the story of food? Well, it turns out the connection is way more direct and way more heartwarming than you might think. And here is the beautiful answer, folks. In Istanbul have actually developed recipes that are simple, healthy, and safe for both them and their cats to share. A dish like salmon and sweet potato mash is perfect. You make a batch, set aside a portion for yourself to salt, and then share the rest. In this context, food becomes so much more than just sustenance. It becomes a bridge, a real, tangible act of kindness and community that connects people to the animals they live with.
So we've journeyed from Maryland's history to DC's fusion kitchens and all the way to Istanbul's caring community. Now, it's time to bring all these ideas back home, right to your own dinner table.
Because, as we've seen, every single meal you eat is telling one of these stories. Is it a taste of heritage, like that family recipe you only break out on holidays? Is it a spark of innovation, like that new fusion place you tried last week? Or is it an act of connection, just a simple meal shared with the people you care about?
So we want to leave you with this one thought. Food is never just food. It's a story of where we've been, where we're going, and who we are. So the next time you sit down to eat, just take a second and ask yourself, what's the story on my plate? Thanks for tuning in.